All right, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I assume everybody's ready since you were waiting for me. My apologies. Okay, well, with that, I'd like to call the design review meeting, committee meeting to order for Wednesday, May 25th, 2022. And we will begin with roll call.
Committee Member Perez?
Here.
Committee Member Browning?
Here.
Committee Member Schneider?
Here.
Committee Member Ellsworth?
Here.
And Chairwoman Banducci.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item B, approval of the minutes. We have multiple minutes to approve here. December 22nd, 2021, March 23rd, 2022, April 13, 2022, and April 27th, 2022.
Through the chair.
Yes.
May I ask the staff to refresh my memory as to why there is such a queue up of meeting minutes to approve?
Yes, thank you.
So for the December one, I'm not quite sure what the answer is. I wasn't here for that meeting. So I think we're just getting caught up on that one. And then the number of meetings that we've had recently has gotten us behind on doing minutes for all of our commissions and committees. So I apologize for that.
Well, no apologies. I was scratching my head figuring out why we've got such a queue up of a list. It's surprising. So thanks.
We definitely try to get them done for you by the next meeting, but unfortunately it just does not always happen.
Okay. I had the same thoughts, but it makes sense. Thank you for clarifying. Are there any revisions to the minutes as presented? We can approve them individually or as a group. If the committee could let me know your preference, that'd be helpful.
I can't vote on April 13th or 27th. I wasn't there for either one of those. I was away.
Okay. Well, let's go through them month by month then, or meeting by meeting. All right. Do we have a motion to approve December 22nd, 2021 meeting minutes?
I move to approve the December 22nd, 2021 minutes.
Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Gailey. Okay, we have a motion and a second, and we'll vote.
Committee Member Browning?
Aye.
Committee Member Perez?
Aye.
Committee Member Schneider?
Aye.
Committee Member Ellsworth?
Yes.
Chairwoman Banducci.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, March 23rd, 2022. Looks like everyone was present. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Gailey. The committee will vote to approve, or we'll take a vote on the March 23rd meeting minutes.
Committee Member Perez?
Aye.
Committee Member Browning? Committee Member Schneider?
Aye.
Committee Member Ellsworth?
Yes.
Chairwoman Banducci.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, April 13, 2022 meeting minutes. I will make a motion to approve April 13 meeting minutes. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, and we will take a vote.
Committee Member Perez? Did you say aye?
Oh, you're
Aye.
muted.
Oh,
There you are.
sorry. Committee Member Browning?
Abstain.
Okay. Committee Member Schneider?
Aye.
Committee Member Ellsworth?
Yes.
Chairwoman Banducci.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, last one. April 27th, 2022. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
Thank you, Caroline. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Travis. The committee will vote.
Committee Member Perez?
Aye.
Committee Member Browning?
Aye.
Committee Member Schneider?
Aye.
And Committee Member Ellsworth?
Yes.
Chairwoman Banducci.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, taking us back up to item, C. Continued and rescheduled public hearings. There are none. That takes us to item C.2, which is new public hearings. We have LRE 411 LLC restaurant with drive-through located at 2411 Broadway. Design review application DR 21-0007. The recommendation is to hold a public hearing, adopt a resolution approving with conditions, and Caitlin will be running us through the project.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Okay, great. Good morning, committee members. As Chair Banducci just stated, the project before you for your consideration this morning is the LRE 2411 LLC restaurant building with drive-through design review. So here's our standard bird's eye view of where the proposed project is located in the context of the city limits. Here we are zooming in even closer. The site is on the east side of Broadway, approximately 640 feet north. That's 0.12 miles of Vigo Street. Zooming in even closer, you can see the existing motel building and the manager's office and the existing vegetated slope area for the bluff behind it. The site is surrounded by retail and service commercial uses located along Broadway, which is the blue shade, and an established residential neighborhood is located behind the site up on the former bluff, or the former Marine Terrace, the bluff, which is the unshaded area in between the orange and the blue. Here's a street view photo of the Pine Motel. And then here's a Google 3D view from 2019. The little red balloon is the site of the motel. We're looking north here, and the red arrow is where the KFC building is, and it's not seen here because KFC wasn't open until February of 2021. Here's a southbound view of Broadway. Again, the balloon is the project site, and then here's a red arrow showing where the In-N-Out and the Pacific Plaza is located, which was opened in July of 2020. So the applicant proposes to demolish the existing motel and redevelop the site with approximately 3,160 square foot building, which will house a 2,000 square foot restaurant and an 1,160 square foot restaurant without a drive-through. Associated site improvements include 2 short-term bicycle parking spaces when 2 are required, 24 parking spaces when 7 are required, and 2 trash enclosures, and then new landscaping throughout the development in all areas not used for access or occupied by a building except for the vegetation on the natural slope will be preserved in place. A separate administrative sign permit will be obtained at a later date for any proposed signs. So the site is located in the Inland Service Commercial Zone District, and it adjoins the coastal zone boundary. Inland medium residential is located behind the project site up on the bluff. And then in the coastal zone, there's service commercial nearby as well as natural resources. So restaurants, cafes, beverage sales, and food serving drive-throughs are both principally permitted uses in the Inland Service Commercial Zone District. So design review is the only discretionary approval required for the project. So although the building does not conform to one dominant architectural style, its design incorporates several different architectural features included in the city's inland zoning code, which together are coherent and cohesive. So roof height variation is created with 2 to 6 foot tall parapet walls with cornices. Less than 40% of the street facing wall is stucco. The standard is less than 50%. And projecting architectural features utilizing nichiha, I'm not sure if I said that right, architectural wall panels made up of fiber cement and designed to mimic brick and wood are utilized to break up the blank stucco walls to create horizontal articulation. The street-facing building entrance is emphasized and clearly recognizable with its storefront system and with a 3-foot wide rigid canopy above the storefront and, of course, a sign. So overall, the project design does comply with all of the applicable design review criteria in our code and with the imposition of the conditions of approval included in the staff report and resolution. So furthermore, the overall project will enhance the design quality along this portion of Broadway by removing a significant source of blight and constructing a new building with 2 commercial tenant spaces and associated improvements, which meet or exceed development standards in the city's inland zoning code, such as for building design, landscaping, parking lot landscaping, outdoor lighting, and solid waste and recyclable material storage. For these reasons presented in this presentation and the staff report, all the required findings can be made, and staff recommends you hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution with conditions approving the LRE 2411 LLC restaurant building with drive-through design review project. Here is a suggested motion, but I can stop sharing during the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin. We'll begin with questions from the committee to staff.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I'm curious, since it meets all the required criteria, I'm wondering why is it necessary to go to a public hearing?
Should I answer that?
Yes, please, Caitlin.
Yeah, meaning it meets all the criteria in the zoning code and all the findings could be made, but it is just standard in the inland zoning code. All design review goes to a public hearing for your approval.
And in the last zoning code update that we did, we added the SC, Service Commercial Zone District, to the list of zone districts that require design review, because we wanted to kind of begin incorporating those standards along the Broadway corridor.
Thank you. Chuck, does that answer your question?
That answers the question. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. I have a question in the staff report. There's conversation, or there's a paragraph in here that talks about the landscape plan and how it doesn't meet the standards. I didn't see that in as part of the condition of approval. I don't think that you just flashed up on the screen. So
yeah, 50% of so they had a range of landscaping. So if you look at the landscape plan for their shrubs versus their trees, they're like, oh, here's 3 different kinds of plants, and we haven't selected the final one. So if you look at the total 25 plants, 18 of them are native to California, but 75%, so that's 75% is native to California, but really 75% needs to be native to Eureka. So that's about 50% that they have native to Eureka. So the condition of approval is the final construction plans needs to make sure that each of those plant types, it's 75, whatever they select, it's 75% native to Eureka. And then another one was they had some growing vines for behind the trash storage, and those appeared from research that they're really aggressive and in consultation with CDFW. So we condition that those be native growing vines as well, not English ivy. And I think those were the main
yeah. Okay.
items.
And
So condition H. Sorry, Kristen.
Sorry, I was just going to say, if you adopt the resolution as it was provided to you, it is condition H, as you just noted.
Okay, great. Okay, and so staff will be reviewing all those conditions prior to issuing permit.
Correct.
Yeah, when the construction plans come.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions for staff from the design review committee?
I have none.
And if I may say, oh, sorry, Chair Banducci, I forgot to say that the applicant is here if you have any questions for him.
Great. Thank you. Caroline?
No, I have none. I have no
Okay.
questions.
Okay.
I mean, my only question is what, when are they going to start?
We could begin with questions for the applicant, if the applicant's available. Hi, Victor. Welcome.
Morning, everyone.
The question was, when do you intend to start the project?
As soon as we possibly can.
Okay. Any other questions for Victor from the committee? Okay, seeing none, I will I will open up the public hearing. If anyone wishes to speak, we'd like to limit the time to 3 minutes per person. And you'll state your name and address for the record. So you can either raise your hand in the Zoom call, or I don't know if we have anybody in the audience today in City Hall.
We do not have anybody here in the audience.
Okay. So if there's anyone on the call who wishes to speak, you can raise your hand. Okay, last call. Okay, seeing none and nothing in the chat, I will close the public hearing, bring it back to the committee for further discussion or a motion.
I'll make a motion, but could you put the motion
Yes.
up for me, please? I move the Design Review Committee adopt a resolution to conditionally approve the LRE 2411 LLC restaurant building with drive-through design review at 2411 Broadway, APN 008-021-004.
Thank you, Caroline. Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll second.
All right. I don't know which one you're going to pick, but
I picked Chuck because I heard him first.
okay. Fair. All right. So we have a motion and a second, and the committee will vote.
Committee Member Perez?
Aye.
Committee Member Browning?
Aye.
Committee Member Schneider? Committee Member Ellsworth?
Yes.
Chairwoman Banducci?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you. Thanks, Victor, for being here today. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
All right. Okay, that takes us to item D, business. There's no old or new. Item E is pre-application review. There's also no applications to review today. Item F, reports and communications. Anything from city staff?
I have nothing for you today. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. And item G, oral communications. This section of the meeting provides the committee members and the public an opportunity to address the Design Review Committee on any subject not appearing on the agenda. Is there anyone in the audience today?
Through the chair.
Oh,
I have one question that's not on the agenda. I'm just curious. Recently, I saw on Loco that the city was entertaining the idea of putting a rooftop restaurant at, right near the Healy building, right next door to the Healy building, and I was wondering if they could give us a little input on that. The way it was presented, it was like it was a done deal. So could somebody address that briefly?
Sure. So the Planning Commission recently approved a conditional use permit, coastal development permit, and design review for a new building there on the corner of 2nd and East. The building will be 4 stories tall. The first floor will be a combination of retail and offices. There will be some offices on the second floor. There will be 13 dwelling units, and then the roof will be a private public gathering space, restaurant kind of use, perhaps catering, that kind of thing.
One of the questions that I have further to that is, does that come to us at a later date for pre-application review, or is this a done deal?
So when the Planning Commission acts on design review, it does not come to the Design Review Committee.
So we have no input over the architectural style?
Not for things that have other discretionary approvals, no.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's my question too, because I saw that also, and I didn't remember it going through design review, correct?
It didn't go through the Design Review Committee. It had design review by the Planning Commission.
Okay, because there's also another project that's going, I've seen through the Planning Commission agenda that's going through across Broadway by, I guess, Mr. Fish and In-N-Out Burger. So that won't go through. We won't see that either, correct?
Correct. A number of years ago, we changed the zoning code so that applicants didn't have to go to multiple meetings with different commissions or committees. And so if the Planning Commission acts on a use permit or a variance or a coastal development permit and design review is required for that project, the Planning Commission actually does the design review on that.
And just to clarify, the one by Mr. Fish, that one didn't need design review. It's not in a design review area. It just required a coastal development permit.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to just make a comment that it's surprising to me that a development of that magnitude in Old Town, with that dramatic a departure from the architectural styles of the area, is not going through design review. It would seem to me that the elimination of design review for that project doesn't work in the favor of the community. Full stop.
Oh. Anything else from the committee? Anything from the public? Okay, seeing none. Item H is adjournment, and our next meeting, our regular scheduled meeting, is Wednesday, June 8th. Do we switch over to a new link, or just
no? You can just continue on
we can
with this
continue
recording.
on this
Yes,
one? Okay.
please.
Okay, so we have adjourned our regular scheduled meeting. And are we prepared to jump over to our special design review meeting?
Yes, we are.
Okay. All right, great. I'd like to call to order the Special Design Review Committee meeting for Wednesday, May 25th, 2022. And we'll begin with roll call.
Committee Member Perez.
Here.
Committee Member Browning.
Here.
Committee Member Ellsworth.
Here.
Committee Member Schneider.
Here.
Chairwoman Banducci.
Here.
Thank you.
Pre-application review, item B1, link housing modifications for Myrtle and Sunny, 8th and G, 6th and M. And I'm not sure who's running us through this, but
That would be me.
turn that over to City. Oh, thank you, Kristen.
So good morning, committee members. I apologize for having to add this on for a special meeting for you. We just found out on Friday afternoon that we were going to need to make some changes to the link housing projects. And the rush is because we are going to be applying for funding for the projects, and the application is, unfortunately for us, fortunately for the project, is due on June 28th. So we need to complete the design review process for the projects prior to that application being submitted. So as you may recall, the city is required by our housing element to issue requests for proposal, or RFP, for a number of city-owned properties in an effort to develop affordable housing. The first RFP for 3 separate sites was released in July of 2020, and ultimately the City Council selected Link Housing to develop all 3 sites. Develop all 3 sites at Sunny and Myrtle, 8th and G Streets, and 6th and M Streets. In the last 2 years, Link and the city have unsuccessfully applied for funding, and during that time, just like everything else, construction costs have drastically increased. This has led to the need to modify the plans for the sites, which includes a reduction in the overall height and the number of stories for each site, as well as changes to the facade of the buildings. For today's pre-app review, 2 elevations have been provided, and the first elevation is a draft of a design for the 8th and G Street site. Here's what the facade looked like in the original application, and here's a rendering of what it could look like now. Link's design team took into account the character and the style and the massing of the surrounding structures, and has proposed a mansard style roof for the project instead of a flat roof. The second elevation is a draft for 6 and M Streets and Myrtle and Sunny sites. Here is the original Sunny and Myrtle site application, and here is the one for 6 and M. And this is a base design that's being proposed for 2 sites. Again, the design is taken from the surrounding area for the 6 and M Street site with multi-story residential to the east, flat roof multi-story buildings to the west, with 6 and M becoming the newest flat roof structure in the neighborhood. The site at Sunny and Myrtle is relatively open with multi-story structures to the west and to the east with some development atop a slope and generally flat roof structures to the east. When design review conditionally approved the original application, the committee wanted Link to return for final approval of the facades, and that was to ensure that the 3 sites were differentiated from each other. Currently, 8th and G Street is proposed to be different with its mansard-style roof, but if the committee still wants to have more contrast between the 3 sites, and especially the sites at Myrtle and Sunny and 6th and M Streets, staff and the Link team would appreciate your thoughts, keeping in mind, of course, budgetary constraints, on what features or characteristics the committee might like to see to differentiate between the 2 sites. I'm happy to answer any questions that I can, and the Link team is with us today on the call.
Thank you, Kristen. I'd like to open it up to the committee to start with questions or comments about the presentation that was just presented.
I'd like to speak to what Kristen just remarked upon about a potential differentiation between the Sunny and Myrtle and the 6 and M. They're exactly the same, and I think we need more contrast.
In more contrast, are you looking at something as simple as paint colors, or are you looking at actual features on the building?
Features on the building and paint contrast, both.
Okay.
Can you pop up what was originally approved again and then the alternatives?
So this was one of the elevations for Sunny. This was one of the elevations for G Street, 8th and G. And this is the one for 6th and M.
Travis, you have comments before I start digging into architecture? Because you know that's my favorite subject.
I don't know. Personally, I think they all look good. I'm not opposed to the alternatives being presented either. I mean, I can appreciate the rationale for differentiating, but at the same time, I think all are reasonable. You know, and I think they all fit.
Yeah, I have a comment about, I can't tell from the elevations, but I remember on Myrtle and Sunny, is the exit for the parking that's underneath, is it still coming out on Sunny? They haven't changed that, right?
So they have changed the number of parking spaces that they're going to be providing, and I believe that the parking is now going to be provided outside of the building, so there will be a slight change to the footprint, at least of the first floor. So the parking will no longer be underneath the building.
Okay, but does it still exit on Sunny?
I reminded them that that was something that was important to the committee. So hopefully when the plans come back to you at the special meeting in June, that will be where the parking is located.
Okay, so they're just doing this as a preliminary and then we're going to actually be able to see the site plan.
Correct. So this is just
Okay.
the pre-application review
Okay.
for you to provide input and comments, of course, non-binding, that the link team can then use to provide updates to bring back something hopefully that you'll be able to approve at the special meeting that we're scheduling for June 14th.
Through the chair, I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead, Chuck.
Have we not changed the parking quantity? Does it remain the same, or is it up or down?
It's down. So
we have fewer parking spaces for this project.
Correct. 2 of the locations will have 0 parking spaces. The Sunny and Myrtle space will have, or site, 3 parking spaces. However, all 3 sites still meet the parking requirements in the code.
I understand that it meets the requirement, but it had a lack of parking prior, and it's even less now. So I want that noted.
Kristen, can you repeat that for me? So you're saying that there's no parking at all on 8th and G, is that correct?
That's correct.
And no parking on 6th and M, is that correct?
That's also correct.
And how many spaces on Sunny and Myrtle? Only 2?
They're proposing 3.
And can you give us the figures from the previous designs?
I want to say that we were in the vicinity of 9 spaces for the sites, and I apologize, I don't have those.
Committee will be receiving the full packet in advance of the meeting. So I think the goal today is to get feedback on the elevations so that they can finish out their packages in preparation of the next meeting. So with that, I'd like to make some comments on the elevations. These are a great change to what we saw last time. The last elevations I was still concerned, even though there was modifications made from the original review. I felt that they were still too busy and appeared that they would be a bit hard to maintain over time. I was really pleased to see these 2 renditions of the elevations. I think that they have a really nice, elegant look to them, and they are more. They tie into the environments better without being overly busy or. Yeah, they were a little bit loud before. I'll just say that, but these are clean. They have a modern, but yet they speak to some of the Victorian elements in our city. So the mansard roof, I remember that being one of my comments. So I was pleased to see that kind of stick around in that location, because it helps kind of bring down the scale and tie into architecture in that neighborhood. So thank you for considering that in this project on the 8th and G Street location. But those are my comments on the elevations. I think they really do look clean and nice. So I'm really curious to see what you're doing on the first floor now that there's no parking underneath the building.
I would like to say I completely agree with Cassidy. It just looks so much nicer. It just feels, it feels so much better than what they had before.
Yeah. The 6th and M Sunny and Myrtle concept elevations, it really does remind me of like the Vance Hotel. There's something about that really ties into that for me. So, and I'm in the 2 locations, not necessarily concerned about them being like drastically different, but maybe, considering colors or maybe some material changes could shape it enough where you get that difference. But they're far enough apart, I think, where you could work with materials and colors to get that to work.
What I'm purporting on the 2 buildings are the same. Instead of them being identical twins, I'd like them to be cousins.
Okay. Fair.
And Cassidy, I totally agree with everything you said. This is a huge improvement.
Mm-hmm. Careful of those flat roofs, though. Make sure you got something going on behind those parapets. With a good slope. It's the biggest challenge in our area here is flat roofs and maintenance. Okay. Any other comments, questions, input?
I'm just really pleased they took our comments to heart and have made these striking changes, which are far superior to what they did in the first place, which is not even close to superior.
Does the Link Housing team have any input you want to share?
I do. Hi, everyone. I'm Singo. I'm the Director of Housing at Link Housing. I haven't met you all yet, but super excited to be here. Thank you for the comments. We really wanted to make you all proud with our design. So we'll take your comments and go back to the drawing board and make sure that we make 6 and M and Sunny and Myrtle cousins rather than identical twins. So we'll consider, we'll work on different colors and different materials to help differentiate that. And I did want to speak to the comment about the entrance for the parking for Sunny and Myrtle. We heard that the entrance off of Sunny was important, so we definitely retained that. We look forward to coming back and seeing you at the next meeting. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, anything else from the team?
I have one, through the chair, I have one thing.
Chuck, yeah?
I like the modifications to the elevations that I've seen, and that said, I have to also say that the scale of these, I still believe, are inharmonious with the neighborhoods.
Remind me, there were 5 stories prior, correct?
Yep.
So now we're down to 4?
Correct.
Yeah.
There were 6
We're
stories.
down to 4 because
6.
they took the parking out, right?
Yeah, so
You lost the parking.
Sunny and Myrtle was 5 stories, I believe, and the other 2 were 6. Thanks for the correction.
Okay.
All right, any further discussion for today? Hearing, seeing none. Fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for your input. Appreciate it. And thanks to the Link Housing team for being here to facilitate our questions and comments. We appreciate you hearing our voices. These are important projects in our community, so thank you. All right, item C, oral communications. Again, this section of the meeting provides the committee and the public an opportunity to address the design review committee on any subject not appearing on the agenda.
And we have nobody in the audience with us again.
Okay, very good. All right, last call for that. Okay, hearing, seeing none, I'll close the oral communications and take us to item D, adjourning the meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a great Wednesday.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.